In the relentless crucible of existence, where every choice shapes your legacy and every hesitation forges your defeat, you stand at a pivotal crossroads. You dream of becoming unstoppable, a force so commanding that the world bends to your will, a presence so potent that rooms shift in your favor before you utter a word. Yet, an invisible chain binds you, a lingering belief that virtue alone will elevate you, that kindness will earn you loyalty, that fairness governs the arena of life. This belief is your shackle, a meticulously crafted illusion designed to keep you tame, predictable, and powerless. Niccolò Machiavelli, the Renaissance genius who dissected the anatomy of power in the Prince saw through this facade with ruthless clarity. He revealed a brutal truth: the world is not ruled by goodness, but by force, cunning, and control. Those who ascend are not the most moral, they are the most prepared to wield perception as a blade, silence as a strategy, and fear as a foundation. To become unstoppable, you must shatter the myths of fairness, silence the craving for approval, and forge a psychological fortress that commands respect, fear, and obedience. This is not a path for the faint-hearted, it's a war for those ready to claim their empire, to harness the raw, primal energy of their instincts, and to reshape reality through presence alone. Let's embark on this odyssey, dissecting Machiavelli's uncompromising philosophy through vivid scenarios, psychological insights, and actionable strategies to transform you into a force the world cannot ignore. The chains of virtue. Why you're stop imagining yourself in a high-stakes arena, corporate boardroom, a tense negotiation, a personal confrontation where the stakes are your future. Your heart pounds as you navigate the moment, carefully softening your words to avoid offense, over-explaining your motives to win approval, striving to be seen as good. This instinct, etched into your psyche since childhood, is your fatal flaw, a crack in your armor that invites attack. You've been taught to believe that humility earns respect, that patience builds alliances, that kindness secures loyalty. But Machiavelli would scoff at this delusion, his piercing gaze cutting through the lies woven into your soul. The world does not reward virtue, it rewards leverage. Every time you seek to be understood, you hand your power to others, inviting them to judge, manipulate, or dismiss you. Your goodness, without strength, is not nobility, it's submission, a silent agreement to play a game rigged against you. Picture a young lawyer in a courtroom, eager to prove her worth. She lays out her case with earnest transparency, hoping her sincerity will sway the jury. Instead, her opponent, a seasoned strategist, twists her openness into doubt, portraying her as naive. Her mistake, believing that truth and goodness would triumph alone. Machiavelli knew that trust is a trap, a lure for the unwary. The powerful don't beg to be seen, they ensure they're felt. They don't explain, they act, leaving others to scramble for meaning in the wake of their moves. Your hesitation, your need to justify, stems from a deeper lie, that the world operates by rules of fairness. It doesn't. It's a battlefield where cunning outshines compassion, where control trumps morality. Imagine a gladiator pausing mid-fight to explain. His strikes, his opponent would seize the moment to cut him down. So it is with you, every explanation is a pause, every justification of vulnerability that invites attack. This lie was no accident, it's a cultural sedative, systematically administered to keep you docile. From childhood, you were conditioned to feel guilt for ambition, shame for wanting more, fear for acting alone. Picture a boy taught to share his toys, to wait his turn, to apologize for his strength. He grows into a man who hesitates to seize opportunities, fearing he'll be labeled selfish or arrogant. This conditioning is architecture, a deliberate design to herd you into compliance, to dull the primal instincts that once roared for dominance, conquest, and survival. Those instincts, raw, unapologetic, electric, still burn within you, buried under layers of moral illusions, drugged by the promise that goodness alone will elevate you. They are not dead, only dormant, waiting to be exhumed like a buried treasure chest, its contents gleaming with the power you've forgotten. To become unstoppable, you must kill the part of yourself that craves approval, that fears being feared, that clings to the myth of fairness. This is the first test, the crucible that separates the ruled from the rulers. If you need permission to rise, you're not ready to reign. Imagine a young entrepreneur pitching her startup to investors. She hesitates, softening her vision to seem likable, and loses their interest. Now picture her standing tall, stating her goals with unyielding certainty, her silence daring them to challenge her. The room shifts, her presence commanding attention without begging for it. This shift begins with a brutal choice to reject the lies you've been fed. Start by identifying one moment where you seek approval. Perhaps you explain yourself to a colleague or apologize for asserting your needs. Next time, pause, say, "This is my decision," and let silence enforce it. Practice this daily. When questioned, respond with, "My reasons are my own." When criticized, say, "I hear you," and move on. Each act of restraint builds your power, proving that you don't need validation to act. This process is painful. It means confronting the guilt and fear woven into your psyche. Picture a woman who avoids leadership roles, fearing she'll seem bossy. Her hesitation is a chain, forged by years of being told to play nice. To break it, she must embrace the discomfort of being seen as ruthless, stepping into her power without apology. Write down one belief holding you back. Perhaps I must be liked to succeed, and challenge it. My power lies in my choices, not others' opinions. This act of naming and reframing is a rebellion, a declaration that you will no longer be a pawn in a game designed to keep you small. Your instincts for dominance are not flaws. They are your birthright, the fuel for your ascent. Exhume them, and let the world feel their weight. The theater of power, perception as a blade and the psychological warfare of human dynamics. Perception is the sharpest blade, a weapon that cuts without blood and conquers without noise. Machiavelli understood that power is not about truth, but about what others believe to be true. Those who rule don't shout their intentions, they shape the narrative through silence, mystery, and calculated moves. Picture a chessboard where every piece is a person, every move a perception. The weak player announces their strategy, seeking approval. Their openness invites attack, their predictability a death sentence. The master conceals their plan, letting opponents exhaust themselves guessing, their uncertainty a noose tightening with every misstep. You've spent your life playing the weak player's game, oversharing your plans, justifying your choices, seeking validation. Each explanation is a crack in your armor, each plea for understanding a surrender of leverage. Imagine a politician facing a public scandal, the crowd baying for answers like hounds at a hunt. Instead of defending himself, he says, "My actions speak for themselves," and unveils a bold policy that shifts the narrative. His silence unnerves critics, forcing them to fill the void with their own doubts. Asterisk, does he have a hidden ace? Is he untouchable? Asterisk, this mystery amplifies his power, making his presence a force that lingers long after he leaves the stage. Machiavelli taught that silence is a strategy, a blade that cuts without being swung. When you refuse to explain, you create a psychological vacuum others must navigate, their imaginations inflating your strength beyond reality. Picture a CEO questioned about a risky merger. Instead of justifying, she says, "This is our vision," and lets silence hang. The boardroom shifts, her restraint reshaping perceptions, her mystery a shield against scrutiny. To wield this blade, practice restraint in every interaction. When questioned about your choices, respond with, "My reasons are my own," and let the silence press. When accused, say, "Think what you will," and move on. This detachment is not coldness, it's control, a signal that your mind is a fortress no one can breach. Imagine a co-worker probing why you declined a project. Instead of explaining, you say, "It's not my focus," and shift the topic. Their curiosity festers, their assumptions amplifying your power. Silence creates a void, forcing others to project their fears or respect onto you. Picture a teacher challenged by a disruptive student. Instead of arguing, she locks eyes, says, "We'll discuss this later," and continues her lesson. The student squirms, her silence a pressure that reshapes behavior without a word. This is the theater of power, where the strong pretend to be weak to lure enemies closer, and the weak cloak themselves in righteousness to mask their fear. Consider a rival who preaches collaboration while sabotaging your work. Their moralizing is a weapon designed to shame your ambition, to slow your advance, to confuse your clarity. Machiavelli urged us to see people not for their intentions, but for their leverage. Don't ask what they think of you, ask what they fear losing if they cross you. Power lies not in admiration, but in consequences. Imagine a leader who forgives betrayal too easily. His team learns they can act without fear, eroding his authority. Now picture a leader who responds to disloyalty with swift, silent exile. His team hesitates before crossing him, their caution a testament to his control. To master this, practice consequence over compassion. When someone undermines you, don't confront, distance yourself, letting their actions cost them access. Picture a manager betrayed by a colleague who takes credit for her work. Instead of arguing, she excludes them from future projects. Her silence a punishment that speaks louder than words. Start small. Identify one person who disrespects your boundaries. Next time they overstep, respond with, "That's not acceptable," and withdraw your attention. Let their discomfort teach them what words cannot. This is the law of leverage. Power is not in being liked, but in being needed. Not in being understood, but in being obeyed. Write down one interaction where you sought approval, perhaps explaining yourself to a friend, and commit to responding with silence next time. This practice builds the muscle of restraint, turning your presence into a force that reshapes reality. The architecture of dominance, forging an unshakable frame. Be unstoppable. You must forge a psychological fortress, an unshakable frame that defines your reality and commands the world around you. This frame is not your image, but your internal structure, the rules you enforce, the boundaries you protect, the presence you emit without effort. Picture a king on his throne, his silence more commanding than any decree. His courtiers choose their words carefully, not out of love, but out of survival, sensing that his stillness is not passivity but pressure, a coiled spring ready to unleash consequence. This is the architecture of dominance, built not on loudness, but on restraint, not on explanation, but on mystery. Every time you justify your actions, you weaken this structure, inviting others to test its foundations. Every time you seek approval, you hand them a chisel to chip away at your power. Imagine a manager who constantly explains his decisions, hoping for his team's buy-in. His openness breeds doubt. If he's so sure, why does he need to convince? Scanned, his authority erodes like a sandcastle under waves. Now picture a manager who states, "This is the plan," and lets silence enforce it. His team scrambles to comply, their uncertainty amplifying his presence. To build this frame, you must become unreadable, your emotions no longer public property, your plans no longer transparent. Practice this in daily interactions. When asked why you made a choice, say, "It's what I decided," and shift the conversation. When challenged, respond with, "I don't owe an explanation," and let the silence press. People will test you, probing for cracks, but your restraint will unnerve them, forcing them to adjust to your terms. This frame requires emotional detachment, not as weakness, but as war preparation. Picture a samurai preparing for battle, his mind clear of sentiment, his focus a blade honed to perfection. If your enemy can predict your reactions, they own you. If they can trigger your anger, they guide you. If they can guilt you, they govern you. Emotional entanglement is a leash. Those who benefit from your stagnation will use nostalgia, shared memories, or fake loyalty to keep you tethered. Imagine a friend who guilts you for outgrowing them, saying, "You've changed." Their words are not concern, but control, an attempt to anchor you to a weaker version of yourself. Walk away, not with drama, but with distance, quiet, firm, irreversible. Loyalty to stagnation is treason to your future. To solidify this frame, audit your life with surgical precision. Who adds chaos? Who makes you doubt yourself? Remove them, not with revenge, but with silence. Picture a woman cutting ties with a colleague who undermines her ambition. She doesn't argue, she vanishes, her absence a lesson in consequences. This is not cruelty, it's architecture, building a life where only strength survives. Your frame must be absolute. Anything that weakens you, thoughts, habits, alliances, must die. Imagine a sculptor chiseling away at a block of marble, removing every flaw to reveal a masterpiece. Your life is that marble, and every compromise, every hesitation, is a flaw to be carved away until only power remains. Write down one relationship or habit that erodes your frame, perhaps a friend who demands constant attention, or a tendency to over-explain and commit to eliminating it. Replace it with a new standard. I only engage with what strengthens me. This practice forges a fortress that no one can breach, a presence that commands without effort. The cost of comfort. Sacrificing ease for excellence. Comfort is the silent assassin of power, a seductive trap that dulls your edge and dims your fire. You've been taught to seek ease, approval, forgiveness, belonging, but these are chains disguised as virtues. Picture a lion tamed by a zookeeper's kindness, its ferocity dulled by a steady diet of compliance. That lion is you, your instincts, for conquest buried under layers of guilt and programmed hesitation. To become unstoppable, you must sacrifice comfort for clarity, ease for excellence. This means killing the part of you that craves being liked more than being feared, that seeks peace with those threatened by your rise. Imagine a man trapped in a toxic workplace, fearing to leave because it's secure. His comfort keeps him tethered, his soul eroding with every day he stays. Now picture him resigning, embracing the uncertainty to pursue his vision. His absence becomes a statement, his silence a declaration of sovereignty. To achieve this, identify one source of comfort: a job, a relationship, a habit that holds you back. Ask, what's the cost of staying? What's the cost of leaving? Write your answers, letting the act of naming your truth break the spell of complacency. Take one step, say no to a draining commitment, express a suppressed ambition, or explore a passion you've buried. Picture a woman who loves painting but works in finance. She starts creating again, each brushstroke reigniting her spark. These steps build courage, proving the unknown is not a void but a canvas for your true self. Comfort also lurks in your mind, in the weaker self that flinches at conflict, over-explains, or seeks validation. Picture a young entrepreneur pitching his idea, his voice trembling as he seeks approval. His hesitation invites dismissal. Now imagine him speaking with calm certainty, his silence daring the room to challenge him. To silence this weaker self, practice restraint in small moments. When criticized, don't defend, say, "I hear you," and move on. When tempted to overshare, pause and ask, "Does this serve my power?" This discipline is painful. It means grieving the versions of you that needed approval, that mistook survival for identity. But it's also liberating, freeing the strategist within, the one who moves with precision, not reaction. Write down one habit of your weaker self, perhaps apologizing too quickly, and replace it with a new standard. I act with certainty. This practice transforms your mind into a weapon, sharp and unyielding. The power of absence. Silence as sovereign tislance is your sharpest weapon. A force that unnerves the guilty, commands the room, and reshapes reality. Picture a courtroom where a defendant refuses to plead, their silence forcing the prosecution to unravel. Machiavelli knew that mystery creates fear, and fear is more stable than love. When you refuse to explain, you create a psychological vacuum others must fill, their imaginations amplifying your power. Imagine a CEO facing investor skepticism about a bold move. Instead of justifying, she says, "This is our vision," and lets silence hang. The investors, left to wonder, begin to doubt their own doubts. Her restraint rewriting the narrative. To wield silence. Stop oversharing. Stop justifying. Stop announcing your moves. Picture a man who shares his goals on social media, seeking likes. When he fails, the crowd mocks him. Now imagine him working in secret, revealing his success only when it's undeniable. His silence builds anticipation, his results silencing doubters. Practice this when asked about your plans. Say, "You'll see when it's done." When betrayed, don't confront, distance yourself, letting their absence speak louder than words. Imagine a woman who stops answering calls from a draining friend. Her silence forces them to confront their disrespect. Her distance a boundary that commands respect. This restraint is not passivity, it's pressure, a signal that you're not to be trifled with. Absence is the ultimate form of silence, a declaration of sovereignty. Picture a leader who walks away from a toxic team, not with a speech, but with quiet resolve. His absence shifts the room, his former allies scrambling to fill the void. To master this, make your presence scarce and your attention expensive. Don't be always available, let others feel the cost of losing you. Imagine a man who stops responding to trivial requests, his scarcity forcing others to value his time. His absence becomes a lesson, his silence a law. This is the architecture of power, not being everywhere, but being felt everywhere. Your silence must evolve into a warning. Your absence a legend that lingers in the minds of those who underestimated you, the ritual of transformation, from servant to sovereign. Becoming unstoppable is a ritual of sacrifice, a deliberate shedding of everything that dilutes your dominance. Picture a warrior casting off his old armor, too heavy and cracked to serve him, forging a new one from steel tempered by pain. The first sacrifice is comfort, the need to be liked, understood, or forgiven. This need is a leash, keeping you tethered to those who benefit from your weakness. Imagine a woman who forgives her partner's betrayal, hoping to preserve peace. Each forgiveness trains him to disrespect her, her softness a signal of surrender. Now picture her walking away, her silence a verdict, her absence a law. This is the pivot from servant to sovereign, where you stop begging for validation and start enforcing boundaries. The second sacrifice is the weaker self, the one that hesitates, over-explains, and clings to the past. Picture a boy raised to seek his parents' approval. Now a man who hesitates to lead for fear of rejection. That boy must die, not with hatred, but with clarity. Imagine him standing before a mirror, confronting his doubts. You kept me safe, but you can't lead me forward. This grieving is painful. It means letting go of the versions of you loyal to pain, addicted to validation. But it's also liberating, freeing the strategist within, the one who moves with precision, not reaction. Practice this by identifying one habit of your weaker self, apologizing too quickly, seeking advice from the incapable, and replacing it with a new standard: silence, certainty. Self-command. The third sacrifice is the illusion of fairness. Picture a world where the just always win, where kindness guarantees reward. This is a fable, a myth crafted to keep you asleep. The world is a battlefield, where power goes to those who seize it, not those who deserve it. Imagine a politician waiting for justice to elevate him, only to be outmaneuvered by a cunning rival. To become unstoppable, you must accept that fairness is a language of the powerless. Judge others not by their intentions, but by their leverage, not by their words, but by their actions. When betrayed, don't appeal to morality, enforce consequences. When challenged, don't debate, demonstrate strength. Imagine a man betrayed by a business partner. Instead of arguing, he quietly severs ties, his absence a punishment, his success a verdict. This is the law of power. What you tolerate, you invite. What you enforce, you command. The kingdom of influence, shaping minds without words. Power is not a throne, it's a kingdom, a realm of influence where your presence shapes minds without touching them. Picture a general walking through a battlefield, his silence more commanding than any shout. His soldiers align not because he demands it, but because his clarity compels it. To build this kingdom, you must become a force that radiates, not chases, influence. Stop announcing your moves, let your actions speak. Stop seeking applause, let your results demand it. Imagine an entrepreneur building a revolutionary product in secret, revealing it only when it's unstoppable. His silence builds anticipation, his success rewriting the narrative of his doubters. Your kingdom is built through strategic absence, where your scarcity increases your value. Picture a mentor who rarely speaks, but when he does, the room hangs on his words. His restraint makes his presence a privilege, his attention a currency. To achieve this, make your time, energy, and access expensive. Don't be always available, let others feel the cost of losing you. Imagine a woman who stops responding to trivial requests, her scarcity forcing others to value her time. Her absence becomes a lesson, her silence a law. This is the law of scarcity. The less you give, the more you're valued, the less you need, the more you command. Your influence extends beyond individuals to the legacy you leave. Machiavelli didn't just dominate his era, he shaped centuries by planting ideas that outlived him. Your goal is not just to win, but to duplicate, to create not followers but strategists, men who move with your discipline because you showed them how. Picture mentoring a young colleague, not by coddling them, but by modeling clarity and consequence. Your legacy becomes a lineage of strength, a kingdom of minds transformed by your presence. Imagine a leader whose principles inspire a generation, not through speeches, but through example. His silence teaches resilience. His boundaries enforce respect. His actions create a blueprint for power. The final threshold, becoming the standard be unstoppable, is to transcend victory and become the standard, the prototype of a new kind, of man unbothered, undistracted, unshaken. Picture a mountain standing unmoved amidst a storm, its stillness a challenge to the chaos. You no longer react to noise, you redirect it. You don't pray for less opposition, you invite it, knowing it reveals weakness in others. Every betrayal becomes data, every failure a refinement, every scream a signal. You move like a general, calm amidst the battlefield, your silence a strategy, your presence a law. This transformation requires one final act, the death of the man who needed the world. Picture yourself standing at a threshold, the old you clinging to approval, hesitation, and comfort. That version was forged in survival, but it cannot lead you forward. Let it go, not with rage, but with resolve. Imagine a man burning his old journals, not to erase the past, but to declare it irrelevant to his future. What remains is the original you, unmasked, undiluted, unapologetic. You no longer walk into rooms hoping to be accepted. You enter to assess who is useful, who is weak, who must be removed. Your movements are decrees, your words sentences, your silence a verdict. This is the psychology of rulers, cold in its clarity, ruthless in its compassion, strategic in its silence. You are not obligated to be warm, you are obligated to win, to expand, to conquer mental, spiritual, and political territory. Every inch of power you give away to avoid discomfort becomes a weapon against you. Every compromise for peace becomes a bullet in the next betrayal. Stop hoping to be remembered fondly, be remembered effectively, as the one who changed the terms of engagement, who gave nothing for free, who walked away not out of anger, but because you were done. Your name must evolve into a warning, not through violence, but through absence. Let them feel your success as a slow burn in their gut, your silence as a symbol of sovereignty. You no longer wait to be chosen, you choose. You no longer wait for opportunity, you impose it. You no longer seek peace, you manufacture it through domination. Real peace is not the absence of conflict, but the certainty that, if conflict arises, you will win. You are no longer climbing, you are reigning, a king who commands not with noise, but with law. Your law is simple: anything that weakens you must die. This is the price of becoming unstoppable, the willingness to subtract everything that dilutes your dominance. As you rise, life grows quieter, heavier. But within that weight lies peace, not the peace of surrender, but the peace of control. You know exactly who you are and what you're about to do. Your mission is no longer up for discussion, it's a decision etched in silence, reinforced by action, executed without negotiation. Weak men debate strategy, you become it. Weak men argue morality, you bend it. Weak men seek understanding, you make the world adjust to you. You are no longer the man who survived, you are the man who ascended, the architect of tension, the engineer of fear, the embodiment of law. Go now without fear, without guilt, without hesitation. The world you were born to conquer awaits.